Hey, so today we are going to be fixing a sprinkler line. My neighbor's tree roots keep destroying my sprinklers. So today, for like the third time, I'm going to fix this. And it's not a third time because I'm doing a bad job, but third time because there's tons of branches over here and I keep missing them. So I'm going to show you how you fix a line. Lots of people just pay people to fix it, and that's fine if you want, but it's actually pretty simple to fix yourself. Okay, here's my sprinkler line. So the way you can find the sprinkler lines is, first, of course, it'll be wet where the hole is. So start digging around where the hole is. So then after that, look for any clues that might be causing any of the cracks, like this. This root is the cause of this crack that I just found. It was down underneath and pushing up against my hose, or maybe it punctured it and then spread from the water pressure. Anyways, I cut it with my shovel and removed it. So look, while you're digging, look for any other clues and remove any other roots that are going to maybe cause problems in the future. After you do that, you feel around under the hose. It's pretty easy to find where the crack is. Okay, so the crack is right here. And see how big it is and where you're going to need to repair it. So, yeah, this crack is kind of big. It's about 2 or 3 inches long. So, what you need to do is just clear the space that you're going to work with. So, I dug underneath this line. And this is the hole, so you need to have some space to the right and to the left of it, and make sure you're going to have enough room to put your new line in. Okay, the next step is to get our trimmers, or I've actually, before I had this cool little tool, I don't know what it's called, but before I had this, I actually just got a serrated kitchen knife and just sawed my little section out, but it is more work that way, and this tool is really handy. My dad-in-law gave it to me, so you have to open it up. My hole is right here, so we're going to cut on both sides of the hole. Okay, and you just keep prying this. It's kind of hard to do it one-handed, but you keep doing that until it will snap right through. I just had my sprinklers on to find my hole, so that's just leftover water. Okay, so that's one side. Find your hole, and I try to make it a little bit bigger than my hole just because it's a little bit easier to work when you have a little bit extra space. So go and saw the other side. I'm going to cut it right here. Okay, so now we have our section, and I'll show you the crack. I don't know if you can see, but there's a crack right here. Starts right here, goes all the way over to here. So it's a pretty big crack. And it probably started little, and then the water pressure made it bigger when the sprinklers turned on. Next, we're going to grab all the supplies that we need to fix the sprinkler. So you can get this. This is the 3/4 pipe that is in my system, but you can get smaller pieces of this, which will do just fine. But I just chose to get this big roll here for 20 bucks. It's 100 feet for 20 bucks. And the smaller pieces are really cheap. Like, I want to say like $1, maybe less, I don't know, around $1. So it's really cheap. So the other things that we need are, we're going to need 2 couplings. I have my 3/4. Make sure that it is the, oh, where's my camera? Make sure, I don't know if you can see this, but here we go. Make sure that you have the right size. This one says 3/4. There we go. 3/4 inch. Make sure you get the right size for your pipe and the line, of course. So if you don't, it's not going to work. Okay, so 2 couplings and 4 clamps. Okay? Oh, there's only 3. Okay, so 4 clamps and 2 couplings. The first step is before we put the couplings in, we need to put our clamps on, because after we put our couplings in, we will not be able to slide. I mean, you could unscrew all of this and then put it on over, but it's just easier to put the clamps on first. Okay, so put your couplings in after you put your clamp on. I'm going to tighten it later. On the other side, got your clamp. So push your second coupling in and have your clamp ready. Next, what you're going to do is this is what I do. I get the piece that I just cut out, and after pushing your couplings in as far as they will go, at least to this last ridge here, it would be better to, if you can't see that last ridge, so push it and twist it until that whole ridge is covered up, okay? So then next, you get the piece that you cut out. I use this as a measuring, so your new piece needs to be from this ridge of that coupling to this ridge. So I just use this as a guide, and mark where I'm gonna have the new piece. Get your new line and measure it so that it is gonna fit right on the ridges of the new couplings, and get your tool and cut it out. Works better with 2 hands, but that works fine with just 1. Okay, after we have that, we got to stick it into the position that it needs to be here. So make sure you have your clamps on. You should have 2 clamps on our new piece that we cut out. So put 2 clamps here, because we need to have clamps on both sides of our coupling. So let's wedge it into that first section. Whoops. Kind of bent. Sometimes after you cut it, it gets a little bent. You just have to squish it and make it more round again. Okay, push, push, push until it's to the, at least past this first ridge right here. That way we're going to have a good seal and hopefully won't have any links. Okay, and then we need to do it to the next side. I need both hands, so I'll be right back. Okay. So I have the new section onto our old line, and we have our clamps, 2 for each coupling here. I did forget to mention that it is easier if you do a larger cut. That way that you'll have more flex in your new line and be able to get it onto this side and onto this next coupling. The first one's always easiest, so you slide it on, and then after that you're going to have to kind of lift up and bend a little bit to get it to fit onto the last coupling. I hope that makes sense. But if you just did a tiny section, it'd be a lot harder to get it into place because you won't have the flex from the length of this new line. Okay, the last thing we need to do is tighten up, well, I guess the second to last thing. The next thing we need to do is to get our screwdriver and tighten up these clamps, okay? So I like to have it so the screw is facing up. That just makes it a little easier, and if you need to repair it again, it won't be down here in a hard to reach area. So have your groove up and tighten it. I like to have it about ½ inch from this knob right here, so that I know that it's going to be on the blue sections that are inside the tube. So go ahead and tighten that up on all 4 clamps. So I have my clamps tightened. I brought out another coupling so you could see that the clamps were on the ridges. So make sure that your clamps are on the ridges. If you had it too close to the side, then water would probably still leak out and you wouldn't have a good connection and still have leaking problems and problems with your water pressure, probably with your sprinklers. So make sure it's nice and snug. The next thing to do before we cover it up is let's go turn on our sprinklers and see if it works. Oh, apparently this one was fine, but this was bad. This was not tightened enough. I guess I didn't tighten this, and the water pressure was so strong that it just disconnected and water shot down clear over there. So I'm gonna fix it. Okay, I tightened that last clamp and hopefully it's tight enough. Let's give it a shot. Sometimes that happens, and that's why we always turn on the sprinkler before we cover it all up with dirt again. Okay, I'm gonna go try it on. Okay, I turned it on. Sprinklers look good. Let's check out our repair. Alright, so I thought I tightened this, so make sure you do it extra snug because I thought I did it snug enough, but apparently not. So check underneath, make sure there's no leaks. Look around our couplings and our clamps. No leaking. It's working!